So last time I talked about a Synthesizer class and how it loads systems. So I made some changes that allow a system to be imported from a file location, so it's not part of the same bundle. And this would allow a sort of plug-in system where we can only load the systems into memory as needed for a space. So in the project, I accomplished it this way. So I have a systems folder that contains different systems. And this is written in TypeScript. So each one is a class that implements an iSystem. An iSystem is just something that has a name, an init function, an init entity function, and a dispose function. So somebody could just write one in JavaScript, host it somewhere, and if the code is vetted, we can allow it to become a plugin. And only then is it loaded into the system. So the Synthesizer has this add system function that takes the path of the file and then the name of the file. And I suppose it always needs the name, so I don't really need this part. Then we will use this load script async, which takes the file at this path and it will insert into the DOM a script tag. So then it will load that script, and the script here must inject itself an instance of a class into the window as a variable, which will allow Synthesizer to grab that instance because it's dynamic. It doesn't know what the class name is. And so once it's instantiated and tied to the window, then we can boot it up. We can load it, add it to our list of systems, initialize it, add it to systems for entities, and assign it. Then the listeners that are set up will listen for any new entity created and will run it through the init entity, and that's how each system gets a chance to see if it has components that apply to it. The systems are written in TypeScript here, but in order to import them or to allow the load script, it has to be JavaScript. So I made a new script entry in the package.json called, so in development we'll run watch sys, which runs esbuild, will locate all the TypeScript files in the systems directory, and then output to Phoenix's private static systems folder, which I added it to host the static files here, and it will just continually watch it in development. When we deploy it, it should run npm run sys here, which is the same command without the watch. So that will generate JavaScript files down here in the priv static systems folder, and they'll be available. So here's a test to illustrate how this works. So this test will use Cypress to visit our test endpoint, which just loads it creates a canvas, creates an engine, and it initializes Synthesizer, and we will not need to do this because all Synthesizer will be forced to add its systems one at a time, and the test will do that. So it will click on the canvas to give it focus, and get access to the window object of that browser. We will get the Synthesizer, which is on the window object, and in this test we open the debug so we can inspect some things. And here we call Synthesizer's add system, giving it the path of the systems available. So we get lighting, shape, and transform. Then we need to create a light, so we create an event and we emit that. Then we create, in the first test, we create a box event, or these are all entity created events. So we create a box in this one, and this one we create a sphere. And so if we check the test here, here's our box, here's our sphere, and I need to fix this expectation because after I added the light, this object key is here. I'll just remove this. And this should pass, assuming our server's still up, which it is. Okay, and that passes. So yeah, that's how we have systems which are not part of the main bundle. They're done independently. And we can, next step is to specify these systems, which systems are tied to a space, and to be able to load up the different spaces, systems associated with the space.